And yet the father, knowing that the fig leaves that they hid behind was insufficient to cover their shame, so he graciously shed the blood of an animal to cover their nakedness. It was then that he promised to send a remedy, someone who would crush the head of the enemy, and that the enemy would bruise his heel. He promised a savior. And it is the Father himself that we hear in the garden preaching the gospel for the first time. And in his kindness and in his severe mercy, he put Adam and Eve out of the garden and put angels with flaming swords to keep them from re-entering, because to re-enter in a state of death, the state of death that they were in, and then to eat from the tree of life would be to be trapped in a state of death forever. So he put them out of the garden, and in his mercy, he put an angel with the flaming sword to keep them from returning in. That's the day that the door closed. Any intimacy that they had known with the Father was lost. And so, how then do we know that this Jesus who shows up on the page of our text is the one that the Father has promised? The Apostle John tells us from the beginning of the gospel in chapter 1, verse 10, that this God-man, Jesus, was in the world, and the world was made through him, yet the world did not know him. The Pharisees, these Jewish teachers of the law, followed him from place to place, opposing his teaching and asking if he was the one. Are you the one the Father promised? The one that they had read about in scriptures, the one that they have been anticipating since their youth? Could this be the one? And Jesus, being the master communicator that he is, gives them a parable, a figure of speech in the language of their world. Those in the audience would have had at least a sheep or two in that culture. And so he talks about sheep and sheepfolds to communicate deeper truth. He says in verse 1, "Truly, truly, I say to you, he who does not enter the sheepfold by the door, but climbs in by another way, that man is a thief and a robber." Now, those listening would have been familiar with sheep and sheepfolds. They would have understood a sheepfold to just be a stone sheep pen with only one entrance.